At least it's not Phoenix first pick.
Okay.
You know, for LGD, they shake it up there, but there's some combinations here. There's some good aggression, you know. There's some scaling, especially with a Muerta once you hit critical mass. If your laning phase goes well, where you establish that initial farm, I don't think G2IG will G2IG will run you down with his draft. I mean, like in Grimstroke, that's something we saw a lot here in Southeast Asia from teams like Logan from like 2 years ago. It's a very classical combination. It doesn't take too much to execute on. It is a menace in lane. And just the timings you can hit here for G2IG is just incredible. The push that can come out with the Lycan, with the NP, this global presence you have, this combination with Corrosive Haze plus the Lycan and the NP teleporting on top of you, there is a lot of play for G2IG in comparison.
Yeah, absolutely. Already the big smoke's coming out here from LGD. They look for a very early team fight by the looks of it. Obviously, wards were placed in the mid lane here from Emo. LGD getting prepped in position to see if they can find themselves a very early kill here against G2IG. Which is the dire end of things being quite cautious, just chilling by the tier 1 towers. LGD to be patient themselves and wait for that opportunity to come. We'll go to the Wind Ranger pick as well. I mean, you heard Winter and OD talk about it, right? Like the Wind Ranger against the Slider makes enough sense in the laning stage. You can obviously have a hard time kind of abusing the bash of the DP for nothing to save, but the hero itself, like, well, once you get past the laning stage, does it do much?
I think it's all right in terms of going past the laning phase. The one thing is, it is really greedy. They catch one.
Yeah, I mean, LGD have jumped in, nothing to say with the 3-man stun, but it's not going to matter. Or is it? You does get the last hit. Emo sadly misses uphill. I believe they did want to give him that first blood gold, but like it's so long.
Yeah, they still find a freebie.
Oh, why you smile now? Chased down by JT, very nice body blocks here by the Wolves, and why you smile? Looks like he is going absolutely nowhere, as JT is able to barely secure the kill before his Grimstroke takes it away from him.
Yeah, that's just some beautiful blocking. Compensates for that earlier first blood, but not fully. They're still in a really happy spot for G2IG, finding pretty much 3 bounties for 1. And, you know, you still have this decent lane. It's not an amazing lane for Slaughter at this point. It's also not the worst, considering Slittering crushes radius. You can kind of try to be aggressive running forward. Instead of focusing on Bash of the Deep, you could just try to play with Slittering Crush, kind of old school mid Slaughter. Not sure if that's the direction you necessarily want to go down there on mid. Your side lanes are pretty solid. This is something for PSG LGD that they can play around with. Like, they've got the Shadow Demon Centaur combination. They can look for the stun lineup. They can try to bully out the Morphling. They have separated that Lycan and the Grimstroke, so you're not getting these slow wolves running around. But you do want to just kind of protect your Morphling, play poke. The Grimstroke can kind of provide you some distance to get to safety here and just focus on farm.
Over on Monet. Top lane, they're going to have a very nice time. I mean, New was fantastic last series around. I want to say, like, the new Centaur, always a sight to behold for sure, and he does really have a lot of impact here, but it doesn't seem as though the Centaur Shadow Demon combination is going to be too scary here for the side of G2IG up at the top lane. Mind you, of course, you can get caught out with a disruption set up into the hoop slump, but at the very least, Monet should be just...
Yeah, he's not going to be shoved away fully. Maybe by round 3-4, you can try to defend for him if he's not careful. Down bot, the last lane, of course. We've got JT on the Lycan and Baboka on the NP. They are up against Shiro on that Muerta and Y on that Jakiro. There's a lot of play here as well for LGD. If you can land a pretty good Deadshot or the calling with a slow and just kind of run them down with the damage from range. It's not the best of times for the side of G2IG, JT. It's not finding the best of farm. Like, you can't really stop the Muerta from just building up here with this kind of combination. Without the Grimstroke, Lycan, you're not going to be able to gap close that comfortably.
Well, still trying to get the damage out here against JT and the Wolves, but too much here against JT, going to be just fine. Shiro having a much better time than last series as well, not having to play that position on Spectre. Having a much better time here with the Muerta pickup. And not as weak of a laning stage for him with this hero. New's been left alone for now. Feeling confident enough to lane by himself. And Monet is going to try and force him away with some right hits. Over. cautious with the position. PYW looking to move in from the right side. Just fine though. They aren't looking to make the jump in quite yet. Just remain a 1-to-1. Very even kind of matchup here. Just a very slight net worth lead the way of G2IG. Props to Emo as well here in the mid lane. Like this Wind Ranger versus Slaughter matchup's going actually very even between the two. Apparently 1 CS difference between that Slaughter Wind Ranger. And I suppose if you were Emo, you're probably pretty happy about that, because last series you had to play 2 games in a row against Dragon Knight, but you were just getting no seed.
Actually, I'd see this as pretty good for nothing to say. Again, it's not a lane that he can necessarily leverage his tankiness to exchange hits, to try to get that bash for the deep. He has gone for a 1-2-1 build, so he is focusing on that older style of slithering, crushing the lane, trying to maybe get a freebie onto Emo, but not looking for the right click trades. And considering that, he copped a lot of damage. He is still holding on to that lane. He's not that far behind in the lane that I'd say is rather rougher, way rougher than most matchups you'd want for the Slaughter. I think the next step is going to be that rune control. Water runes coming out, no supports coming out, so it should be an even 2-for-2, or 1-for-1 on the water runes. And maybe by the power rune, you could try to set up. And Shadow Demon, Jakiro doesn't sound like the best way of coming in, but if you can just chain those stuns, you should be pretty good to try to pressure if you feel the need to.
Speaking of that Jakiro down the bottom lane, I mean, still just trying to harass the HAT. He's having a great old time here on the like, and no real pressure on him. Rotation out from X-Nova now, looking to perhaps set up onto the Muerta. They will get the EMP out of there. Mid lane, it seems like that's where all the action is, because the Emo's been caught out with a very awkward sprout from Baboka, just blocking the way. There was just no way out for Emo. Nothing to say in Baboka, able to secure. Now even bot lane, Shiro going down. Just X-Nova with the rotation, with the like, and gets it done as now Baboka with the chase out, misses the sprout. A little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, but that aggression lines up from G2IG. They actually do make that move for the water runes. Nothing to say, finds both. Gets to stay in lane. Does go for the 1-3-1 build, so going all in on just playing with Slitherine Crush, which I like to see, because it takes me all the way back. You don't necessarily see that build too often nowadays. 1-3 start, G2IG. They're getting the right movement across, right? Like, you connect mid with NP, you bring the Grimstroke down bots, you can start to play with that as well in Stroke of Fate, the Lycan chasing down. Even though they split up these lanes in different manners, they're still finding that initial timing for that aggression.
W just Monet out of this laning stage. Monet at the stage where you could start thinking about going into spamming the jungle, but obviously doesn't really need to as PYW. Go for a disruption out. Does have a lot of Shadow Poison stacks going onto Monet. Nice silence though from X-Nova. Not going to allow the Hooscop to come in as now PYW actually the one to go down. You trying his absolute best to help out, but he can do nothing. Very clutch silence from X-Nova, ensuring there was no follow-up to the disruption. It's even now bottom lane, Shiro trying for JT, but they just do not have the follow-up damage to finish off the kill.
G2IG, they've set the foundations for a really strong start. They're counteracting that aggression you expect with a Centaur SD, not allowing the openings. They're getting a lot of attention down bot without dropping. The only lane that has been left alone a little bit has been Emo's, but he had a death earlier on, and it still needs more form. They're trying again, but he's a pretty tanky target to try to burst down, and at this point, even with just 1 point in attribute shift, as long as he's got some stick charges, he's perfectly fine.
Very quiet across the map. 6.5 minutes in, 1-4. G2IG, certainly the team trying to get the most action going here. I suppose with the global presence you do have, they can continue, as I believe X-Nova has actually rotated down towards the bottom side once again. Looking at YU Smile, who'll try to get out of vision, though YU Smile able to get that information over onto the Grimstroke and realize he's around this area. Shiro will back off in response. So will the Jakiro, though Shiro was actually being chased down by Nothing to Say, who does intervene. Moving down to the bottom side, Shiro will get stunned up. He'll get the slow out, but I don't think it's going to matter. Nothing to Say, just casually chasing him down as Shiro misses the dead shot. And that'll be all Shiro. He is gone.
I love this aggression coming out from G2IG. They're just leaving mid. They know Emo can't do anything. Like, even if you give this Wind Ranger a free lane, what she can do without farm?
Nothing.
She needs to just sit there. She needs to just build up so you can take that momentum elsewhere.
Renee just way too quick with the straight morph. And a nice attempt with the ice path to catch him off guard, but Renee, he is on edge. He knows they're coming.
Just reads them. He knows what they're trying to do once that centaur starts to gap close in. 1 to 5 start G2IG. We're starting to reach that point where the push is coming out. They've got that Dominator up in JT. He's just shoving in bot.
They're going to try and respond though. Emo with a nice rotation. Focus fire out. The JT just going to focus the tier 1 tower while he's there. JT actually just so tanky. Going to try out some YU Smile. JT still surviving, but finally will drop. Now Shiro moving in. The one for Boca. But Boca perfectly okay to walk out of there. I suppose the thing is, it was still a 1-for-1 trade in the end. JT actually getting a kill. Now in come the cavalry. They want a little bit more. They'll make the chase in onto Emo, but nothing to say. Unable to close the gap. Will look towards Shiro instead, as they do have the Dominator creep giving all the vision. They will not land the stun. That'll be enough for Shiro to be able to get out of this scenario. You can feel the pressure though for LGD. Like they are not feeling very comfortable here in this game, number one, I don't think.
No, they certainly aren't. JT, just a beast with a micro, cutting off that initial movement by the tier 1. To look for more.
This guy is just all over. Nothing to say, just no hesitation. It's new. Getting annihilated, but Boca the one to take the kill now. This is very reminiscent of last series.
That it is, Mike. 2 to 7 start in favor of G2IG. The one difference is they've got stacks for LGD, but guess what? JT's clearing it out for himself. It out.
This takes you back a couple years, doesn't it, John? This Lycan Dominator creep just chasing you down across the map. There's just nothing. PYW, be very careful, sir. You cannot deal with that creep right now, as sad as that is to say.
That +3 is not to be underestimated.
3 heroes ganking you, John.
Yep, and that's what they need. You know, they need to cut their losses. They need to prevent this bleed out that's coming out onto G2IG.
It just PYW will not be left alone. Roberto wants it so bad. PYW trying to run, does get away at least. Thank goodness for that. As Emo gonna try and punish Baboka now. They'll go for the chase, but they've got no vision around the area. Courier's coming out. Misses out just barely though. The TP away, Baboka. He got spotted, but they're not quick enough. Oh, they're not quick enough. Baboka, he gets... How does he just walk away?
Just slips right out of there.
Oh.
It's like they can't even stop him. And I mean, that's so much time you're using on the triangle. You don't save your large stacks. Your side lanes are just being free farmed now by G2IG. And it's just the supports kind of playing tag here. Nothing to say, maybe just dipping in and out, but no massive commitment. Whereas LGD, again, they're losing so much map space by just trying to chase them down in the triangle. Over those neutrals, over JT's micro. Like, he's just farming up a storm. You've got no pressure now for Monet up top. He's doing perfectly fine with his net worth as well. And for the side of LGD, I don't know, like, we haven't seen the setups come into play. This is where that Wind Ranger, again, just comes out as a question. It needs items. It's going for the Maelstrom. It can do some more damage then. They're probably just waiting really for the blink on you once more, which is sort of seeming like a recurring story here for LGD.
He's going to go for a chase with the X-Nova. Inkswap going to land though, and now with the Wrath of Nature coming in, Emo, he's actually the one being hunted down. Spread out as well, Emo still running, but in comes JT with the Wolf form, and just the Wolf chasing him down. Emo, just get the hell out of there, sir. It is just not safe. He will continue to run, but the chase continues. He is surrounded. Emo is gone. YU Smile, he will slowly follow as JT finishes off that kill. Shiro in the meantime trying to trade, but he cannot keep up with the Lycan. And I mean, LGD, they're trying to find an opening. I'm not sure where it is though. There's nothing.
There's nothing. There's no opening showing. They pop Stampede to run away. Guess what? The Wolf can run just as fast as a horse can, apparently. Yeah. Over a prolonged time. And it's just so much committed again.
Oh, and you just got his blink dagger to boot. Yeah. He just got it.
Just a little bit off the timing. Maybe now you can play a little bit aggressively, try to set up, try to get, I don't know, a chain stun with Ice Path and Dual Breath. You don't even have the macro fire to play with. I'm not quite at that level just yet. Or why? They just need to stem the bleeding. They need to just secure an area to farm in. They've got their triangle back in control. They've got a little bit of an ancient camp stack being built up, but this is when you look at this draft, you've got Muerta, you've got Wind Ranger, you're waiting for farm. There's only so much a Centaur +2 can do in this situation.
I feel like New just has to just get some kind of impact for his team here with this Blink Dagger up. We are seeing the 3-man smoke immediately up from LGD. They've got to get a surprise reveal going. Got to find some value with this Blink surprise reveal, and well, they do rush towards the bottom side of the map, but sadly nobody from G2IG is hanging around that area. They are all safely on their own side of the map, and sadly for LGD, it doesn't really seem like they're going to find themselves an opening. Perhaps they could travel through the Twin Gates, though, as even G2IG now smoking up on their own side of things, looking for their own fight. LGD, do you want to go through the Twin Gates? It seemed like the answer may just be yes, they will.
They've got a good angle onto Monet. Doesn't have vision to protect himself in the rear. God.
Not easy to pick this guy up. It's mid lane. Why You Smile is gone. Monet is still being hunted, but again, with the Lincolns up, it's going to be very hard to initiate on this Morph. Especially with that vision.
Is under attack.
Triangle again.
Got his whole team behind him to make matters worse. So you definitely don't want to run up to that high ground right now. Monet does reveal himself by taking down that sentry, but it seems as though LGD are very well aware this is not the fight they're looking for. While they've been dancing around their own triangle, the mid-tier 1 tower goes down for free as JT able to just secure, and now the Ancients, they are just being taken. There is zero contest in this game one.
Yeah, they took the other camp a while ago with its stacks. They're taking the Ancients out. The movement from LGD, again, it just wastes time. G2IG get a good read, just take control, clear out these stacks, dodge out the ganks, build up this lead. 2 to 10, 8k up. I mean, it's going to be hard to stave off this push now that you have the full Overlord up as well for JT.
Well, here we go. Dominant creep. It's the emo. You're going to be scouted out by the Wolves as well. G2IG decide this time around they do not want to be involved in this fight. They'd rather back off and for better territory to fight in. GD were kind of sitting around that high ground, so G2IG going to hold their own high ground here in that Gaia jungle. Yet they have all the vision of the world with these Wolves, and in fact, look at this initiation. With the Inkswell out, they're going to jump TYW immediately, and in fact, nothing to say. He's even going to find Yu, though, unable to follow up. He needs to get the hell out of there as G2IG, and now on the chase, the poor Centaur. Looks like he might just be fine for now, but nothing to say. Still on the chase with this line, just waiting for the wind to come up in there again. Nothing to say. He'll find 2 of them. Yu is down. Why You Smile trying to help just gets annihilated by Monet. And Emo, all he can do is run. Don't look back, sir. It's not worth it.
That's done right as Stampede comes out. Their escape route, it wasn't even blocked off. They were just run down by a wolf. Wolf can just eat Centaurus all day.
Yeah.
Doesn't line up for LGD, and 2 to 13, 10k lead for G2IG. You don't have to worry about Stampede now. It's not a long cooldown, mind you, but it does feel like the one tool you really have for LGD to try and create some space for yourself. You know? Just prevent that chase down from G2IG. Roshan opens up. You've got the slaughter, you've got the output, and it's not going to take long. There's no contest here for LGD. They've just got to use this time to get some vision down. There's a really good sneaky ward here for G2IG by the ramp on the triangle that neither sentry really finds. So they've always just got free info, and they have 3 sentries in their triangle, Mike, from the side of LGD. They can't even find this, and it's going to be a big issue when you go up to farm.
He's been scanned out here on the Muerta. They know where he is. Make a jump in, nothing to say. Immediate blink, immediate stun, and immediate kill. No chance for Shura to survive the onslaught that was incoming. G2IG, it feels like they have no reason to back off. Maboka, maybe gone a little bit too far. Will get shackled up. Still looking to try and play this one out, but does go down. Bit of a freebie being handed the way of LGD, but on PYW, he's also a bit of a freebie, John. He just dies to the creeps of JT now, as JT's rushing you. You forced the prompt the Stampede to run away. We'll be able to make it. But my God, is it rough.
And it is. Every single Stampede has basically been a defensive Stampede coming out here for LGD. And we haven't seen them be able to use that to run in, to keep that chase going on their end. And I don't know if we'll ever see that until maybe your Muerta's ready to chase down some heroes after additional items. Maelstrom's done. You're going into the full Moon Shard next, which is a pretty big spike for the Muerta, but not enough. Not nearly enough.
He's 4K behind Monet.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of how bad things are going right now for LGD. It's just not what you need. And I don't blame it on Shiro. I just think G2IG just have a better understanding of the meta right now by the looks of it. So here we go again, mid lane. We'll smoke up as 5. LGD, they're going to try and find themselves a good team fight. Was that under vision?
I think the ward clipped it on you.
Oh no. Well, never mind this smoke. Probably not going to work out in the favor of LGD, but for G2IG, they're just holding the high ground of that Radiant jungle now. And if LGD dared move into that area, it'd probably be a very nice fight for IG. JT,
the seeds of fortune.
Perhaps a target they could look for. He is right by his tier 1 tower though, so they have a nice rotation point. He has no wolf form at the very least, so they could jump in, but look at the TPs. Look how fast they come in. JT, he has the backup in. Lightning Ball is gone, and now the Soulbind locking them two together. Emo is down, so is New. Oh, and why you smile? He will be the fourth to drop. It just happens. Oh, you blink and they're just gone.
And the coordination of G2IG, like they called a smoke play from that high ground area in bot jungle. JT tries to scuff. He's still hugging the tower. Like they commit everything for this one pickoff, and they just can't run. He's told the Stampede again to run away, but he just doesn't do anything.
Very challenging situation here for LGD. Is now it's 4-19, 15k advantage. The way of G2IG.
And that little play, it would have ended up a lot better if they were just a little bit faster going into that camp. They managed to walk back to the tier 1.
I don't think they can fly by the towers. That's kind of my issue with that, right? Like you jump JT like that, fine, but not by his tier 1 tower.
I mean, what can you do? These tier 1s still stand here.
Right.
20 minutes in, they just haven't been able to push.
Radiant's top tower is fallen.
To say, he is by himself in that Radiant jungle. When he misses the blink, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That's Jakiro. You don't need that damage. Just burn him down. Easy enough.
AT, look at this. He's just chasing 2 on his own. Emo forced the TP away. New being left behind. New, he'll go for the TP with the Ghost Scepter, and he is going to be fine. That is the current state of the game. You need a Ghost Scepter to survive as an off-lane Centaur. Now Shiro's been jumped. Nothing to say, literally running circles around him. I mean, he's literally running circles around the gun. Here we go, New. He is gone. Nothing to say, at least a die. But G2IG, they are playing very confidently. They'll jump into the high ground now. Onto Emo. Emo just trapped between a rock and a hard place. He's down a boot. Monet. He'll show mercy. He won't dive to tier 4 towers yet. It's only 20 minutes in. I'll take it easy for now, but GD. Time's a ticking.
It's not going to take long for this high ground to really just fall apart.
Yeah.
I don't see any strong defense left. Macro Fire, a few less than a minute away, I suppose. Not the longest cooldown, but this push just happens in a flash. Monet just styling on top. Dropping Muerta with her own dead shot. Always feels good. They at least have one outer tower left here for LGD, so mega creeps aren't a near reality just yet, and that's not going to take too long for G2IG as they'll go for another smoke play out.
They've got a double damage waiting for them at the top root spot if they wanted it, but they don't see it, I don't believe, so instead they're just going to run into the Radiant Triangle, up toward the top lane, where they might run right into YU Smile and PYW, and nothing to say, of course, has no hesitation, making the jump in onto Jakiro. PYW at least able to TP up, but Emo gets scouted there with a stroke of fate. The wind run away out of this. So the Tormentor now on the Radiant side. It's going to belong to G2IG.
Oh, that's a big freebie one to find. Onto nothing to say. The free slow marine crush increased damage with the corrosive haze applying first.
Amazing.
I mean, everyone already melts anyway. I don't know if it's really a big difference maker with how fast they die. I guess it's always nicer to have them die even faster.
Absolutely. Damage found, nothing to say now. Might just be able to 2-3 hit this Jakiro at this point with this double damage room. Very tough. I mean, if you're LGD, what do you... If Xiao A could talk to his team, what's he telling his team right now? Like, what's the game plan to get back into this?
Kind of saw a little bit of that in their last game, just like looking for these pickoffs. They've got this chain control. They've tried a couple of times trying to smoke out. think that's the idea. Just basically go for a smoke play or try to set up some vision and then go for a
Radiant's middle tower
Macro,
is taking
defend the mid tier 2 tower. It's the best you could really do here as the Jakiro. And not stick around to throw any other spells out.
Tower has fallen.
And Monet does still find the tier 2 mid tower. Absolutely no issues there for him. While LGD just taking any space on the map that they can to allow Shiro this farmers. Now look at the move coming, just TPing in so aggressively. Does actually find himself a Shadow Demon with that Wrath of Nature and PYW. All he can do is try to hide, but he can't even get out of the pit now. Just blocks him in. PYW is gone. Nothing to say, we'll take that one.
Now, shoots dead center to the Sprout. Doesn't matter. Gets the blink target, gets the stun. 10 to 1. There you go. It's like he's playing a carnival game at this point. Can I insta blink in the center and get the plants watered up? They find another hero.
We probably should have just stuck on the replay. Shiro is down. New. Scepter is going to buy him a little bit of time. He'll try for the TP play up, but Monet's going to have to stun. It'll be a wicked 6 streak now for Monet as Emo is just being chased down by creeps at the moment. JT is literally standing there AFK. Microing creeps.
Yeah.
And Emo still just has to run away.
Oh, this is. I mean, there's no words right now for this. It's a tough time for LGD.
Very tough.
What do you do? Again, you try for a Hail Mary. You could try to smoke out. Try to hold high ground. Play with your macro fire.
Emo looking to get the lead here, though he does get the wind run at the very least, but the Wrath of Nature going to lock him in place, and now the shackles to fly up, but Emo does still survive. They'll force the whole of the LGD to rotate once again into the Radiant base, and now matters get really hard if you're Emo. Nullifier is now available for JT. So that wind run, it really doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Neither do the Ghost Scepters that they have on hand that they've been trying to leverage to save themselves, particularly on Nero. I guess, I know, it's the same story. Just try to play high ground, or if you manage to somehow get some vision outside, play with that smoke. Try to go hunting outside. We saw it in the last series. They did get a couple of nice kills. They needed to do that maybe 4 more times to feel good. Kind of the same story here, except probably looking for more like 5 kills, 6 kills, which it feels impossible until more farm comes in. Still looking at Shiro, he hasn't really progressed that much in itemization. As the Hurricane Pipe, still queuing up that Moon Shard. It's a pipe dream, I guess.
AK behind Monet. AK behind JT at the moment. At the very least, they are holding high ground for now. 25.5 minutes in, they are not out of this game quite. They say you either win or you learn, Jonathan. Right now, this is learning happening, that's for sure.
There's a lot to learn. I feel like for LGD, it's a lot to learn in the last series as well. It's a learning day for LGD. Which is fine, it's day 1.
It is day 1. Plenty days to go, nothing to say. 3 hits.
There you go, you were right. You got it.
That's without the double damage bonus.
No, then it would have been maybe 2 hits.
Maybe 1.
Maybe 1.
5 to 28 on 27k net worth of damage. What's do we have the numbers on Dota, please? What's Gabe in
100%.
Okay.
Just 100%.
Thank you for that, John.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, I could make some noises with my mouth at this point.
G2 IG. We'll make some noises here in the Roshan pit. Roshan are obviously going to go down very freely here. G2 IG. I suppose with this Aegis, you just move high ground.
That dire team.
You don't.
Muck about.
Maybe get a pick off.
Maybe.
Maybe.
They do have good, decent enough forward vision, but not quite in that bot jungle any longer. All did expire. They do find a good scan.
PYW. This is going to be the experience PYW's had all game. They will see him eventually. Monet blows him.
God.
Sometimes this is how I feel playing support in my pubs, John.
Yeah, this looks like a C pub sometimes. You know, I don't know why Southeast Stage has a lot of games like this, but it does happen. And we are in C, so it's a server game.
Blade Monet's going to get started on the bottom racks. Looking at you. Headshot does land. Nothing to say though. No hesitation going right onto the Centaurs. The Wrath of Nature will even lock him down. LGD. They will not lose anyone quite. They are losing that bottom rat to Monet. They will get the glyph out. Macro dropped as well, just trying to delay this push as much as humanly possible. Potentials again, just giving away Monet, but Nate comes nothing to say, and why you smile. But he is alive for now, but not for long. As the Stampede trying to allow him to survive, he is actually alive a little bit longer. The JT is diving a little bit too deep. He will go down, but so will you and Emo. Shiro able to escape the grasp of G2IG. But even diving into the fountain, it's still a 2-for-1 trade in favor of G2IG.
Yeah, they still have the Aegis to play with. You could go for a reset on Monet, and that's probably the ideal circumstance. It's not like a massive macro power, but you're holding back Morphling. They are doing a great job on G2IG of just poking. You know, nothing stays moving forward, bringing the attention away from the Morphlings who's hitting the buildings, and it's just a free ride from there if they don't stop Monet.
I mean, there is really just Monet at the moment by the looks of it, unless Monet completely agi-morphs and just allows them to throw some spells out. John, I
That'd
don't...
be a meme.
It could be.
I don't think he'd want to meme.
KYW gonna get deleted here by nothing to say. Back onto the high ground. You've still got the Aegis. You've still... do they have the cheese? Does it even matter? Probably not. No. Minrax, Monet's not gone. Rainrax is gone. 2.5 minutes on the Aegis. Plenty of time here for Monet. He'll morph into the Muerte. Drops the call. Continue to just use dead shots to buy a little bit of time here against the Morphers. New thought about jumping in, but saw the strength morph and just ran right back out. The Midrax once again under siege here by Monet. Still needs the extra KUALA, but why you smart is getting deleted again by nothing to say. Monet has get caught. Will take down the Aegis. That's one line stop, but can they do it this lineup? They'll look to back off. The Stampede forward. They're going to try and go for the fight, but they're huge and Snare's coming out with the wrath of nature from the Boca. Monet, he's got no fear. He's just jumping right in. He is just jumping right in. He could not care less. BYW to force a boot. But Boca dealing with Shiro on his own with the Spirit Vessel on, and Shiro! He'll buy back. GD is called.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
LGD is, they're not having a great time. 3 games in here, Mike, for day number 1.
Nope.
But like you said, it's either you win or you learn. And this is another thing to learn from, I suppose. I suppose our lesson, if Winter was to point out the lesson from the first series for LGD, was not to